Shalom everyone to another edition of Numerical Gems in the Torah. Today we're going to look at one of the mysteries of creation, and that is when the Torah begins with the word Bereshit, in the beginning. God created the heavens and the earth. The question is asked at the very instant of creation, in the actual beginning, what was created? In other words, what was different than before creation? And the answer is given: time and space. Before creation, there's just the infinite oneness of God, but it has no concept of time or space. So the first instant of creation, time and space comes into being. Now we could see this in the actual word Bereshit. Bereshit is 6 letters. And this represents, of course, the 6 days of creation that will follow from the initial creation, the initial word of the Torah. But it also represents the 6 directions of space. Height, length, and width both have 2 vortexes. This is a cube. And all of space can be seen as an expanding cube in 6 directions: above, below, and the 4 cardinal directions. And this is alluded to in the 6 letters of the word Bereshit, the actual initial creation of space. The number 6 is also intrinsically connected with time. The letter in the Hebrew alphabet that equals 6 is the Vav. Vav means and. And already hints to time. Something is being added every second. But in biblical text, not in modern Hebrew, but in biblical text, when you put the letter Vav before a verb that is in the past tense, it actually changes it to the future. And if you have a verb in the future tense, and you put a Vav in front of it, we read it as if it's in the past. So the letter Vav, this is called Vav HaHipuch, the Vav that can turn past into future and future into past. So this, of course, gives the Torah an eternal feeling to it, that it transcends our usual concept of time. So here we see that the number 6 relates directly to both time and space. Now there's a beautiful allusion to the connection of godliness, of divinity, to the idea of space. In Hebrew, the word for space is makom, place. Space, makom. Makom equals 186 in Gematria. And it's part of the mystical tradition. If you take the 4-letter name of God, the most essential name of God, a Yud and a Hey and a Vav and a Hey, and you multiply each letter by itself, we'll do it right now. Yud equals 10. So 10 times 10 equals 100. The next letter, Hey, is 5. 5 times 5 equals 25. Vav equals 6. 6 times 6 equals 36. And the final Hey of God's name is also 5. 5 times 5 equals 25. So if you add 125 and 36 and 25, it equals 186 makom. And this is significant because one of the ways that we refer to God is hamakom, the place. And there's an intriguing Rashi that after the sin of the golden calf, Moshe Rabbeinu prays and pleads for compassion for the people, for God to forgive the people. And God responds and acquiesces and tells Moshe that he is going to reveal 13 midot of compassion, 13 midot of rachamim, 13 attributes of compassion. And God says to Moshe, you can't see my face and live. You can see, as it were, from behind, what we'll call retroactively. And so God says, Hine makom iti. There is a place with me, and I will hide you in the cleft of the rock, and I will put my hand, now of course this is symbolic language, I will put my hand in front of you and shield you, and I will pass by, and I will reveal these 13 attributes of compassion. So on the words, Hine makom iti, behold, there is a place with me, Rashi says, Hu hamakom shel olam, va'olam eino makomo. He, God, is the place of the world, but the world is not his place. A totally paradoxical statement. But nonetheless, from this idea, one of the ways we refer to God is hamakom, the place. And here we see that the most essential name of God, Yud and He and Vav and He, when multiplied, each letter by itself equals makom. This was part of Yaakov's revelation when he had the dream of the ladder with angels ascending and descending. And after the dream, the Torah relates that Yaakov says, God was in this place and I didn't know. And from that we understand that Yaakov is saying, had I known that God was here in this place, I never would have gone to sleep. But it's much deeper than that. With Yaakov, part of his revelation was that God fills all space and all time. That there is no space or time. There's no makom empty of God's presence, and there's no moment of time empty of God's presence. One more beautiful hint here as to the connection of God with the idea of makom, space, is the Arizal says that when we shake lulav on Sukkot, we shake to the 6 directions. And he said that we should have in mind one of the names of God when we shake to each of the directions. And that name of God is Aleph and Lamed. We pronounce it Kale. Aleph and Lamed equals 31. And this name of God is the most generic name of God. Like in English, we have the name God. So of all the names of God, the most generic one is this 2-letter name, Aleph and Lamed, equaling 31. And so the Arizal was saying, when you shake to each of the directions, have in mind that in the modern children's song, God is here and God is there. God is truly everywhere. Up, down, all around. That is the realization that God fills all space. So when you multiply 31, this name of God, by the 6 directions, 31 times 6 equals makom. equals place. So we should all be blessed to understand that God is in this place and God fills every moment of time.